So in your book, you break down procrastination into 4 Ps, which we'll go through briefly. So the first one is, you describe it as the probability of payoff.
Yes.
Can you quickly run through what you meant by that?
Yes. So, I mean, just so I step back a little bit, the reason why I came up with this idea of the 4 Ps of procrastination is, there's so many different reasons why people procrastinate, and it's very easy to be overwhelmed by all the various causes. And I thought it might be nice to have a sort of framework that's easy to remember, that we can sort of use to get a better understanding of what drives procrastination. So, just going back to your question, James. The probability of payoff, actually, it's a very simple concept. It comes down to the fact that we will do something if we think we're going to be successful at that particular task, and we'll also only do something if we think the payoff of doing that thing is valuable to us and it means something to us. So, in a nutshell, we'll do something if we think we're going to do well at that particular thing, and also if the results of doing that thing actually mean anything to us. And, the more something looks hard or challenging, or the more something looks like, it's a task where we'll not be able to be successful, the more we'll put it off. The less valuable something is to us, the more we'll put off doing it. So I suppose in the context of people applying for jobs, if people have application forms to fill in and it's for jobs that they are not really interested in, then they're probably going to procrastinate about filling in those application forms for a long time. Likewise, if students have a job they'd love to get, but they doubt themselves or they're not confident in their ability to successfully apply for that job, then they'll put it off and they'll delay as long as they can.
I mean, thinking back personally to companies that ideally the company sounded great and you think, oh, well, I'd like to work there, but then in the back of my mind, I was thinking, well, you're probably not going to get in.
Exactly.
It's not really worth, hundreds of thousands of people are going to apply.
Exactly.
So in the end, you just talk yourself out of applying because the probability of payoff you think is so low that you just put it off for so long that you miss a deadline. And
absolutely.
There's no chance of getting in.
Absolutely, and sometimes the statistics and numbers don't really help students, because sometimes you'll hear, this particular job received 1,000 applications and they're taking 20 people or something like that. Hearing statistics like that can put people off and just make them doubt their ability to actually get through. So I think a lot of procrastination, in fact, falls in this category, because you'll have people who are perfectionists, for example. They think that, if they're going to do an application, the application has to be perfect. So, we'll end up spending ages trying to get our application to look perfect that we end up not getting very far. Stuff like that is all related to the probability of payoff in the end. And the same thing applies to fear of failure. So, sometimes people stay away from applying for certain jobs because they think they'll be rejected or they think they'll fail when they make the application. So that is a key thing that really drives a lot of procrastination. People just being afraid or being unsure of themselves. And we've all been there. Even now, there's certain things I procrastinate about because I'm not sure how well I'll do if I take on this particular task.
I completely agree. And perfectionism's something again which, thinking back to my dissertations, it was easier to keep on researching and researching and researching than it was to actually start writing. Exactly. Because once you start writing, then you've got the fear of, is it going to be good enough?
Exactly.
And the same with the podcast. It was before I launched, I wanted the website to be perfect. I knew deep down it was an excuse because the website's never going to be perfect.
Exactly.
And you've just got to get to a situation where you've got to start and get the application out there, get the content out there, whatever it is.
Exactly.
You need to draw a line and start, and the rest will go from there.
Exactly, and you need to have a place to start from. So one of the tips I use on a regular basis, just to remind myself, is that the first attempt will always be rubbish, but you need somewhere to start from. So if you're writing a dissertation or if you are filling in a job application form and you've got to write 200 words about something, you might as well just write a first draft that's really rubbish and then work your way from there, as opposed to thinking, oh God, but I need to actually write the perfect paragraph before I can get anywhere. So it's always worth just giving yourself permission and just giving yourself permission to do something rubbish initially, and then you can work from there.
No, that's a really good point. And one of my friends is a stand-up comic.
Oh, brilliant.
Well, a wannabe stand-up comic. One of the advice that he'd been given is with the writing and writing jokes, is to write for the rubbish bin. So not even think about performing it, but just write and write and write and get it down, and then you can skim through it, keep the 20% that's good, and get rid of the rest.
Exactly. So it's a great way to overcome perfectionist tendencies.